want to welcome you and thank you for coming on. This is something that I just want to honor Bralynn, number one, just because she's had spirit-centered business going for how many years? How many years,
I
Bralynn?
started it in 2014.
2014, and many of the principles and concepts that she was teaching are things that are much more accepted today, but they weren't accepted back then. And you kind of took a little bit of a spiritual beating back then, and yet we're bringing it back alive because I do believe it's time for people to hear these principles and be able to walk into this. So,
well, yeah, and not only that, but we now know so much more about access. And so I'm really excited for you to teach a lot about the access skill, because I know you've been doing that for a while. So I appreciate you coming on board and reviving my dream of the spirit-centered business, because so many times I see people who are living two different lives. They've got their business and then they've got their spiritual. And I don't think that we're designed to be that way. I think that we can be all integrated in all one, and we don't need to feel like we put our spirituality in a box when we do business. So that's been the cry of my heart, to bring that together. So I appreciate you coming on board with it.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I love this. I mean, it is probably one of my greatest heart's desire to take this into the business world and to help people understand that you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to grit your teeth and try to make things happen. If you understand the principles that the Father wants us to walk in, man, it releases things and gives you access to things that you probably didn't know were there before. But when we get done, I mean, not just tonight, there's a lot more depth that we want to take people into as we carry on, but it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. So why don't you go ahead and launch us?
Sure. Why don't you share your screen and we will start with the slides. And welcome to those of you who are just joining us right now. So this is the 3 spiritual keys to unlocking your business potential. And we are spirit-centered business, and this is a foundational course. So this is where you are. All right. So I am Bralynn Newby, and I am the message architect, and I help coaches, consultants, and speakers to design their business around their message. And I had success in business, but I didn't feel like it was me. And so I really want to, like I mentioned before, just stop living the 2 different lives and bring it all together. And that's part of why this is so passionate for me. And Gil?
Well, I have actually grown up, I didn't know anything really about spirituality, but wound up being a pastor for many years and then going into business. And I have to say that I have a very strong entrepreneurial spirit that I, have not had, places to let it go. And at one point I finally stopped being a pastor. I resigned and just felt led into business. So I went into the business realm for 17 years. And in that 17 years, I had between 15 to 20 different businesses and 5 corporations. Some of them did absolutely awesome. Had a one that I was able to make $2.5 million over a 2-year period. So it was a pretty good run. And, one of the things that I feel like God showed me during that time, though, is how much stress I was under, because even though I had money, the one thing I didn't have was fulfillment. I didn't feel like what I was doing was meaningful. And I specifically had said to my wife many times, here I have all the money really that I could care to have, at this time. And yet I do not feel fulfilled. I felt more fulfilled in doing what I called ministry at the time. Well, now I get to do both. And this is the highlight of my life. I'm doing the thing I love. And I don't know that there's anything else I could ever do that would be greater than this opportunity that we're actually stepping into right now.
That's exciting. That's so awesome. So back to the slides a second. I think we are on the agenda. There we are. Okay. So first of all, we're going to tell you that you're in the right place. So hopefully you are. Yes. Then I'll talk about spirit-centered business, the 3 spiritual keys that we promised, how to go deeper with spirit-centered business, a great gold nugget. You will want to stay until the end to get this gold nugget that Gil has for us. And then we have a Take Action Now bonus, and then a little special gift. I don't even know if Gil knows about this, but I threw it in there at the last minute.
Surprised me, huh?
going to surprise you because, you know, there's always juicier fruit at the end of the webinar.
All right, let's go for it.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, this is for you if you wonder if your business is really what you're meant to do. Like, do you sometimes feel like, oh, I don't even know if God is in it or if He cares about my business. And it's also for you if sometimes you feel like you're just going through the motions, like day after day after day, and your Groundhog Day, like every day is the same. Yeah. Am I really on the right track? Am I in my destiny right now? Am I just, you know, or is it just like a hamster wheel or a grind, you know? And this is for you if you feel stuck and alone. So many of us are just lonelypreneurs, and you don't know what's next in your business. Sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. So you are in the right place. Don't worry. We will be answering all of these questions and more. This is for you, and even if you have doubt about your destiny, we're going to clear that all up. So what is spirit-centered business? Spirit-centered business is the alignment. And we're going to be talking more about the alignment, and then there it is, the alignment, the access, and the impact. And this is a gold nugget that I have for you right now. Write this down. Because if you don't know who you are and who you're meant to serve, the people on the other side of you getting over yourself will never hear what you have to say. There are people that have been already positioned that only you can touch with your unique voice. Your experiences will resonate with them. The business that you serve, that call on your heart that you feel like this is a problem I have to solve in the marketplace, that will never happen if you don't come into full alignment and realize what access you have into the spirit. The heavens have opened up in a way. There has not been a point in history when we have had more access, and we know how to access. And Gil is amazing at teaching this. You're going to absolutely love it. And then you won't have that impact if you don't know your alignment and your access. And the impact I'm talking about is transforming lives. It's making more money so that you can design the lifestyle so you can have more love and beauty and purpose in the world. That's the impact that we're talking about.
That's good. And so, you know, there may be some of you out there that are, you know, wondering about, you know, where can you find a community that you can actually engage with on a regular basis? So tell us about the membership, Bralynn.
Sure. Well, it includes all of these things. We're going to be talking about it a little bit more, but there's definitely been training, and we will have talking about the mindset and emotional intelligence. That's one of my big things. Other than content strategy and actually packaging our brilliance, my second highest is that mindset and emotional intelligence in our business, because you will not succeed if you don't have it. And then we'll be talking about communication, online and offline. There's so much more to this membership. And it's $37 a month, but we'll talk about this later. Let's just keep going. So our first key is alignment. Alignment.
So this is a powerful one. I am excited about this because it is something that is the first key. Obviously, we put it here as the first key in order for us to help each one of you learn how to engage with our source. Some call it the source, you know. Again, I'm not apologetic about it. I come from a Christian background, and I refer to him as my father. You know, the creator of the universe, I refer to him as my father. That works for me. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me. And when we're aligned with him and what he is wanting to do, it changes everything. But I'm actually going to have Bralynn start off with sharing a few key points on alignment. Then I'm going to share a little bit about my story.
Sure. So aligning with your head and your heart, and oftentimes we do things in our own intellect, because a lot of us business owners and entrepreneurs are so smart. right? But we're not following our passion. So aligning that internal head and heart, intellect and passion is critical. Aligning with source. And like Gil said, I also come from Judeo-Christian roots, so I have an open mind. He is the source, and actually God is male and female. So he, she, whatever you prefer to say, however you think of it, aligning with the universe and others, because there are certain principles of how the universe operates. Like the big one is the law of attraction, right? How does this work? And then aligning with others, really getting your communication down and understanding how to do business. That's important.
Good, good. So I'm just going to share a little bit about my story because as I mentioned, I was a pastor for 7 years in a specific denomination, and I left that denomination and went into business. And I was probably one of the, I could, if I set my mind to something, I could get it done. And I would grit my teeth and I'd use my willpower and I would get it done.
Yep.
So along came the setting of goals and understanding how to run a business the way the world teaches us. Now, it's not completely wrong. I don't want you to get the idea that it's completely wrong, because there are times to set goals and so forth. But for me, I mean, I set those goals and I went after them, and I would not stop until I reached those goals. And yet at the end of each time where I had accomplished what I wanted to do, have my business set up, I wasn't happy. It just was bringing me stress and depression. And that's not what we're looking for, obviously. We honestly want to find out who we are, because from that place of where we are and where we understand who we're designed to be and how we're designed to be, that's where you find out what you truly desire. Because we want to tap into that, because we want to understand that when you're tapped into who you are, you will begin to enjoy the true you, and you'll enjoy true freedom, true success, and true fulfillment.
Can I jump in here a second too?
Yeah.
Also, when you find out who you truly are, and I think it's about finding your why and your purpose. And in the Spirit Center Business Program, and possibly even in the boot camp that we do, we're going to do an exercise that really gets down to your why that you may have never discovered before. And so it's so powerful.
I'd almost say that most people listening here have not discovered it, because we tend to think about it, and what we tend to put out there as the why is actually an external goal or something that the world has placed over us. We have them taped to our refrigerator. We have them, in every, on the car dashboard and all that. But the truth is, what we're truly looking for goes much, much deeper. And when you are able to tap into that, that's what we're going to be doing in the workshop, is we'll be able to tap into that at a much deeper level. Because when you get to the core, that's when things begin to change. And I'll just give you a little illustration as far as that change goes. I had restarted my real estate company in, I think it was 2012. And this is where the Father had just begun to speak to me about doing business and understanding who I am and where I am. And he had told me, he had given me a picture. Okay, so I get this spiritual download of a picture with me in this specific room, and I'm spending time there alone. And I actually, he showed me a picture where I was praying, and that's all I was supposed to do. That's what I was supposed to do for my business, and I could see myself there doing it. Well, it took about a month before I was actually in that place where no one else was around, because there's usually a lot of people in that room, but nobody was in that room. And I found a couch, I laid down on the couch, and I just began to speak in tongues, just prayed. And so again, this is my spiritual arena. This is where I function well. So this may not be for you, but it worked for me. This is what the Father was telling me to do. I had no clue what he was doing. But he says, this is how I want you to do business. This is your first step. So I went, I did that, and I got done. And I'm like, well, I have no clue what that was all about. I went to leave that room, and it's literally, and I do mean to the T, as I was stepping across the threshold out of that room, that doorway, out of that room, when my foot struck the other side, my phone rang. And it was somebody who I had no connection with whatsoever calling, and they wanted to sell their house. And I'm like, it was one of those things where you can feel the blood flushing through your system as you just realize this is real. this is absolutely 100% real. He told me
Yeah.
to do it. I went, I did it, and boom, he gave me a deal. So that was powerful. Divine alignment there's nothing like it. And when you truly understand who you are, you'll also understand that there's a book written about you that the universe, the Father, has written. And it says in Psalm 139:16, all the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. You are designed for greatness. But here's a couple of little keys, little nuggets just to keep in mind, that it is not a race and it's not a fight to try to get to that place. It is more of a learning to rest and come into alignment with who you are. So coming into harmony with who you are will bring you what you desire, and that desire is the key that is going to start bringing you the access and the resources so you can have the impact that we're talking about.
That's right. So you are designed for your destiny. The desire that you have in your heart and that passion that you want to fulfill is part of your design. None of the way that you desire things is by mistake. You're wired to desire the things that point to your destiny. So your desire points to your design, and your design points to your destiny. And so what we want to do in Spirit Centered Business is make sure that you're fulfilling your destiny through your business. You're not here by accident. Hear me. You are meant to fulfill your destiny through your business. People
Yeah.
who are not, have more of an employee, are maybe on a different track, and maybe they're fulfilling their destiny through that role. That's not what we're here for. We're here for you business owners, and you are here and you are right on time.
Yeah.
So I want to just
Good.
reiterate
Good.
that. So I love to say my assignment equals my designment because of the way I'm designed. And I discovered my designment through a series of career highs and then crashes, fall flat on my face. And I was really soaring high. I earned 5 promotions in 6 years. My budget that I was responsible for went from $5,000 to $60,000 to $1.2 million to managing multi-million-dollar construction projects for some of the largest companies in the United States. And I was wined and dined away from that to another big company. And 6 months later, I was fired. Oh, Bralynn Newby fired. Oh my gosh, it was devastating. And I did have then a temporary job totally outside of the realm. I was then out of construction, and I was managing publications for one of the largest colleges in the country. And that lasted for 3 years, 2.5 years. And then I got back into construction. Anyway, ups and downs and ups and downs. And 2009 hit, and I was laid off. And I finally said, you know what? I want to have some more control over my destiny than being at the whim of employers. And so that's when I got that entrepreneurial buzz, that bug, right?
Yeah.
I just said, okay, I just want to do it, right? So I had a really intimate time with God, and I was crying out, what am I really designed for? What do I really want to do?
Yeah.
And here's a funny thing that I discovered is that all throughout my history, even before that, even way as far back as high school, people would tell me just amazing things that they did, and they didn't want to tell other people about them. And I was always thinking, you need to tell people this. This is amazing. And they're all like, oh, nobody cares. Who's going to want to listen to me? All of this stuff. And that stuff, when this moment, when I was thinking, what am I going to do with my life? All of that came back to me. And I think, God has a sense of humor because I now love building people's messages, getting that message out of their heart, and building a business, or at least a revenue stream or multiple revenue streams around that brilliance that they have in them. So I get to say that I build destinies now instead of building buildings.
That's good.
So yeah, how much you is in your business. I want you to know that you need to be totally genuine, and all of your quirkiness and your personality
So
and
true.
your flaws can be in your business. I mean, I just throw it all out there, and that is what makes you attractive to your clients.
You know what, and Bralynn, I just want to reiterate that, because that is so important, that people truly understand that who they are needs to come out in their business and in their personal life and so forth, because that's how God created you. And when you're hiding that, man, you're just, well, again, you're bringing on the stress and everything else that goes the wrong direction.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So the next slide here, I just want to tell you a story about how Frank found himself. Now, this isn't Frank, and actually Frank isn't really the guy's name, but we're going to call him Frank. So I'm a speaker, and I was speaking about, I think the name of my talk was Show Up for Work. And it was all about how do you actually show up in your business? What parts of your quirkiness or your passion shows up in your business? And Frank came up to me afterwards, and he was doing okay, but not great. And he was, just really asking me questions. When I asked him what he did, he said, I'm a rep for XYZ health supplement company, and I'm not going to name names. And I said, okay, so you're in network marketing. He goes, yeah, network marketing, and I've got a great upline, and, I'm building a really good team and all of this stuff. And, what I didn't hear in his answer was anything about who Frank was. It was all about the company and the product. And so I just sat with him and I said, Frank, what do you really love to do? And he goes, oh, I love to help people to, take better care of themselves. I think that too many people sit in front of the TV and they're not really paying attention to what they eat and all of this stuff. And I said, so you're more like a health coach? He goes, yes, I'm a health coach. I said, well, how come you don't just be a health coach? And
Yeah.
it really just, like a lightning bulb went off over his head. He's like, wow, I can just be a health coach and, use the product line as just a tool. And so it went like ding, 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 ding. He can create an entire business that's built around his passion, not built around being a rep that says on your business card. And so
Right.
that was just an amazing, I'm so glad that I got to touch him. Yeah.
That's good.
So, yeah, thank you. So the power of story. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely huge in your marketing. And even in the talk tracks of when you say what you talk to people about it in a networking event, or just the power of story when you're thinking about everything that you're posting on social media. Story is huge because that's how people get to know you. And they won't buy from you unless they know you, like you, and trust you. And how is your story going to be powerful unless you know who you are?
That is so good. So good.
Right. So big missions attract big partners. Who needs a business partner right now? Who would love to have someone come alongside you and really say, I believe in what you're doing. Here, let me fund that for you. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. And I think, again, that comes back to the alignment, which we're still talking about.
Absolutely.
Because it is when you get aligned with who you are, and then you start talking about the big mission that God has put in you, then it comes from a place of authenticity and integrity. You're not trying to make something up and be this bigwig, but you're just being you. And when you're being you, people will see that, and it will attract the right people in order to go with the mission.
Absolutely. And we're going to be talking more about attraction in the next one. So we are going to be diving much deeper into alignment in the Recalibrate and Revolutionize online workshop that's coming up. We're going to be telling you more about that too.
Yeah. So the second key that we're going to look at, once you're aligned, you got to understand that alignment is like the cord, the plug-in. When you plug in a light bulb or plug in a lamp, that's when the power source gets to it, and it can be the light that it's called to be. So once you have that alignment and you're plugged in, then you have access to the power. And the thing that I want to show to you just real briefly is, through all my 15, 20 businesses and 5 corporations and all that stuff and the money and everything, I was still lost. Literally, I was still lost
Yeah.
as to who am I? I did not
Yeah.
know who I was. I still didn't know who I was. And that was so frustrating. It's
Yeah.
only been in the last 2 years since I've been practicing these principles, 2.5 years, that I've been practicing these principles, that my identity has become more solid than it ever has been. And from this place, I have figured out who I am. The Father's made it very clear who I am and where I belong. And he's been able to start getting rid of the lies that I believe, because the world wants to tell us that success is one thing. You know, how many people that do you know that are wealthy and have nice business suits that they wear everywhere, and yet they're some of the most miserable people? And I can tell you that they are sometimes, oftentimes, more miserable than people who don't have a lot of money, because the people who have a lot of money and still haven't figured out who they are and what they're trying to do, what are they going to do? Because now they have money, which would have been the answer for a lot of people. A lot of people think if I only had enough money, I'd have the answers. Well, it's not true. And then the people who do have the money, they realize it's not true too. But now where do they go? Because they can't say, maybe they do. I need another million or I need another billion. It's not going to work. It's not going to
Right.
help. So what we have to understand is what we're truly looking for is fulfillment. And I'm going to tell you right now, here's one of the keys. You already have the fulfillment and you already have everything that you need. And I can't say this enough. I've been talking about this Sunday night, and it's just you already have everything you need. The thing is, you need to learn how to tap into it. And that tapping into it is not something that you grit your teeth about. It's something that you learn to rest in. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, because, again, the world's teaching us to go the other direction. If you're looking for happiness, we tend to want to go to try to measure up in order to get that happiness. We figure if we can reach certain goals and do certain things, then we'll be happy. That's not true. We got to understand that goals versus identity are like black and white. If you're going for the goals, you may reach it, but you're going to find that if you haven't figured out who you are yet, that goal is going to be as empty as you were before. It's when you understand your identity, and then out of that come, I call it desire, but you could call it goals. They're healthy goals. And we need to make sure that we're going after those and not after the external goals that we think are going to fulfill us. Because if we're going after the external goals, it's going to create stress and it's going to create negative energy. Which, what does negative energy bring? We're back to that law of attraction. What's it bring? It brings negativity. It brings failure.
Yeah.
And 97% of people that go along these goals, and there's plenty of studies out there that prove this, and 97% is a pretty solid number, that 97% fail because they're going after these external goals. They're stressing, they're fighting, they're gritting their teeth, trying to get there. And then even if they do make it, they find it's empty. What we really need to be going after is our identity, because it's there that we find love, joy, and peace. And again, when we get into the workshop, we'll be able to dive into this a whole lot deeper and really understand that that's what you're looking for. You're really looking for love, joy, and peace. And when you come to that realization and you can sit on your spiritual throne, so to speak, and operate from that place, your desires will begin to bring those things to you. But just looking at the good energy, bad energy, I would tend to want to go for the good energy, because that's going to draw love and joy and peace to you. And you may find that what you thought you were designed to do and what you've been trying to do is not really who you are at all. And that's part of my testimony, is once I figured out how to rest in who I am, all of a sudden the things started coming to me. And I would have never dreamed some of these things were who I was. But once I started doing them, it's like, I love it. I absolutely love what I'm doing right now. And I'm living one of the most blessed times in fact, the blessed time in my entire life. I just absolutely love what I'm doing. It's been great.
Awesome. Yeah, and one of the other things about words is that they have that vibration and that frequency that you were just talking about. They have good energy and bad energy, right?
Right.
The power of our words and the frequency of our voice call to us the things that we say. And so when we say negative things, say I'm sick and tired, well, what you're going to get is being sick and tired, right? So you really have to watch how your words create your worlds.
Yeah.
And Yeah, and there's an exercise, if you didn't already get it, it was on the registration page for this webinar, spiritcenteredbusiness.com/3 keys. Make sure that after the webinar you go ahead and get that if you haven't already, because it's an exercise on, it's out of my book, right there, Planning to Profit, on the affirmations and declarations that will help you to reframe your thought process and train your mind to think in the positive and think about who you truly are and what you truly desire, rather than letting all of the junk of the world focus or affect the way that you speak.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. I
Yeah.
love this
Oh,
picture.
I know. I love this picture. This was totally me in an aha moment. I was like, so I had to tell you the story. I was literally teaching spirit-centered business, and I was teaching one of the principles of how our conditioning or programming is so ingrained in us that it shapes us and it shapes our reality, right? Well, one of the participants asked a question or made a comment, and in that moment, Gil, I'm telling you, I saw my whole training from a different perspective. It was like, zoop, I was yanked up into like sitting on my throne, as you call it, in heaven, and looking down at my life and looking at me. And
Yeah.
I saw that all of the way that I was teaching it was that all of this conditioning and programming was creating my my existence, right? Which is
Yeah.
absolutely true. But the thing that I saw that made me look like this was I am the creator.
Oh, that's so good.
I know, right?
So good.
It's like I don't have to just be the creation. I
Yeah.
can be the creator.
Amen.
That was a huge spiritual like paradigm shift, huge for me. So that's how I got that look on my face.
And I think that is so powerful when we fully understand who we are. And that I can't say that enough. When we fully understand who we are, and we may not even get to a complete perfection of that fully understanding, but we can definitely help everybody get to a new level of understanding who you are. But when you're in that place and you're operating in that place of rest, understanding you have power to create, understanding you have power to desire these things and that they will begin to come to you, puts a whole new paradigm shift on everything. And you can begin to live in the present versus, when I was setting all the goals and everything, I'm constantly thinking about the future. I'm constantly, and I did not treat my family well during those years because I was constantly looking down the road, trying to meet that next goal, fighting and struggling for that. Didn't have time for anybody else because I needed to meet that next goal. Well, I think Jesus puts it into perspective when he said in Matthew 6:34, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. And when we come to that place where we fully understand, where we're seated upon our spiritual throne, in your full identity, you will begin to operate from a place of desire. And the law of desire begins to attract and begin to move things powerfully towards you. And again, like I said earlier, when I was, first learning how to sit on that spiritual throne and to kind of rule and reign from there, so to speak. And this is all, for me, it's all submitted unto the Father. But he says I belong there. So I step into that place and I begin to rule and reign for what he has given me to rule and reign over. And as I did that, just beginning to realize that all these things start coming to me that I never, ever expected. And that's another key. We're going to change your paradigm and understanding of expectation.
Yep.
Because not about, having an expectation, because expectations will disappoint. If you have too many expectations and they start to fall apart and you never get there, well, hope deferred, we know that that's not a good thing. So we want to be in a place where we have desire for things. And this is just a funny one, but it's a true one. It's a real one. It just happened. Just before we came on the air here, I put a little blurb out on YouTube or on Facebook, and I said, I desire for one more person, because we had 30 people signed up, and you never get your 30 people. You get 10 to 20% of them sometimes, but we got 30% of the people on. So that's good. We got 10 people on here. But I said, I desire one more person to sign up. And it's like, boom, it happened. And it's just, that thing sat out there for a while. So it's not like I just put it up there, someone saw it and jumped on it. I put it out there and it sat there for a while. But I let go of the expectation. I completely let go of the expectation, because my desire went out, and without the expectation, then I believe it has more power and authority to work when I'm not inside, got this expectation, which again is a gritting of my teeth saying, come on, come on, come on. But it's just letting it go and letting it flow. So.
And I just want to point out that in that expectation is when you're expecting an outcome, right?
Right.
What is the energetic vibrational frequency of our emotions, which we're going to get into, is expectancy.
Yeah.
That's the key. That the key emotion that draws things is expectancy, because then when it's not expecting the an outcome, it's just having that,
that's
like,
good,
something good is going to happen to me kind of feeling,
Exactly. Because we're seated in that throne and we're working and operating out of a place of love, joy, and peace. We are fulfilled. We are content. We have everything that we need. We're done. And when we fully, completely get that, then the desires begin to pull things in. And you may desire $1 million, but what do you desire it for? That will become part of the questions and things that we'll discuss, because if you're desiring it for the wrong reasons, it's probably not going to come. Or if it does, it's going to come with a lot of problems that you didn't want with it. But if you're desiring it out of a place of love and joy and peace, anyway, it just puts a whole different spin on things, and we'll get into that more a little bit later. But
we will get to deeper dive of access in the Recalibrate and Revolutionize online workshop. So you're right.
Awesome. And then
the third key is,
go ahead.
Okay. All right. The third key is impact. And when I selected this picture, I'm thinking about these men who had impact in their lives. They left a legacy. So what kind of legacy do you want to leave in your business and in your life?
Amen.
Yeah.
So I look at it this way. When I'm looking at impact, here's what happens when you have, a good, strong impact. Tyrants operate out of here we go. Leaders who force things carry a different frequency than those who pour themselves out. Totally different impact. So leaders who force it carry a negative impact. These are leaders who forced things and got their way. They're not known for being nice people or that anybody wanted to be under their rulership. But over here you have people who poured themselves out. Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, and Gandhi. These are all people that poured themselves out. Jesus poured himself out of everything. And it's just a powerful contrast to, the law of attraction. If you force things and are grabbing things and gritting your teeth and making it happen, that's what you're going to get. A tyrant is the end result. When you're pouring yourself out, give and you will receive. Your gift will return to you in full, pressed down, shaken together to make room for more, running over, poured into your lap. The amount you give will determine the amount you get back. That is the law of attraction at work. It's a powerful, powerful thing that is in the universe, whether we like it or not. It's there.
Right. Yeah. So when we go deeper in the R&R online workshop, as we like to call it, R&R, Recalibrate and Revolutionize, we're going to talk about also some practical business tools to design, build, and activate your marketing and your branding and, really boots on the ground. How does this work with the spiritual overlay and the understanding of your perfect alignment and having that access. So I love that. Yep.
Very good.
So one of the things that moves you into that expectancy is to take fast, decisive action. And one of the things that I always learned was, or that I learned in this, by putting this together, was when you learn something, it's important that you implement. So if you find something, if we've given you any gold nuggets that you loved tonight, put them into action right away. Because when you take fast, decisive action, that attracts that whatever you desire to you. And it also sets that expectancy in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So this is all coming up in the R&R. I like that. The R&R, recalibrate and revolutionize your business. So it's a recalibrate your life in order to revolutionize your business. So if any of this stuff that we've been sharing with you resonates, if it's something that you're desiring to step into even further, I absolutely believe in community, and that when we work in community, that we are able to hear it from a different angle from other people in our community. And that in itself is going to help us, put some keys into place. It's going to click a little bit better as somebody else says it a little bit differently. But that we're going to spend 2 to 3 hours going over some of this in much more detail at the R&R workshop that we're doing.
An online workshop, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Did we
you'll
put the
get
date
in.
down?
What was that? Sorry.
Did we put the date on here?
Oh, we didn't. It's April 16th.
April
At
16th, 1
yeah,
o'clock.
1 p.m. Right. And it's on the registration page, which we're going to put up next. But let me just read these things off. Interactive participation. So you get to have your questions answered and to be coached if you have anything going on. You have, we're going to be teaching about divine alignment. What does that look like for you personally?
Right. And that's important.
What keeps us out of alignment? There's some things that we've learned, a lot of lessons, some of them hard.
Lies.
Yes, what lies are we believing? And positioning ourselves for impact. How are we positioned, not only in the marketplace, but also spiritually? And how to access that supernatural. Gil's amazing at this. And then practical business strategies, which we're both really good at. So that is the online workshop. And it does include the training and the question and answer. It's going to be $97. But because you guys are on the webinar, we're going to be offering it for an investment just $47. spiritcenteredbusiness.com/workshop is where you can go and grab it.
Yeah, so write that down. I'll leave that up for a minute. spiritcenteredbusiness.com/workshop. And how long is that open actually?
Well, we are running our webinars are today and next Tuesday and next Thursday. So as soon as these webinars are over, then the cart is closed on that for that $47 price. Then it's going to go back up to $97.
Okay.
Yep.
And then
yes.
I'm excited about the membership because this is cool.
I am too. You're right. I forgot that we had this in here. Awesome. So do you want to talk about it, or?
Well, it's just, this is going to be an opportunity where I talked about that community where we will get on twice a month for an hour. So 2 hours a month that we'll be getting on, and we'll be sharing another business training, principle, or going through some exercises, dealing with this stuff on a regular basis so that there's an ongoing community. So you're not out there just having to do this on your own, but that we can engage and do this together. And so that, as Bralynn had said, it's actually $37 a month, but we're doing it as an introductory offer for the $14.97. And so that is found at spiritcenteredbusiness.com/member. And you can get on that right away. And again, we'll do this through the 3 workshops. And then at that point, the introductory offer will probably go away at that point.
Correct. It'll be back up to $37 a month. So when you join the Recalibrate and Revolutionize workshop, then you get this for just the $14.97 a month. So it's like a no-brainer, right? No-brainer. Oh, here's your gold nugget. Okay, I'm going to sit back and take notes.
Okay. So, well, how much time do we have? We are running out of time, but freedom, I think, is one of the things that we are all looking for. And I have experienced more freedom, again, in the last 2.5 years, just implementing these principles. And I want to give you a little bit of science behind it. I'm going to go to a couple of slides here that I skipped earlier. And I want to show you these because these are powerful. In your DNA is the ability to literally, scientifically store material, store information. So this was a test that was done, and it's a real deal. A video was stored on DNA, and then it was taken to another laboratory where they were able to play that same video off of that DNA. Our DNA is the most powerful, I want to say almost indestructible form of putting information together than anything else. I mean, crystals will go like 10,000 years before they finally fade away. The current things that we're using, in our phones and in our hard drives, those are only good for, 5 to 15 years generally. And they have to constantly be, putting together new hard drives and putting it over to that. Well, they're trying to figure out what can we record onto that will last longer. They think crystals will go about 10,000 years. Obviously, we don't know because we haven't recorded anything and waited around for 10,000 years to see it, but that's what they believe. But the DNA, human DNA, they believe would keep information on it for over 1 million years. That is just mind-boggling. So there's that aspect. And then scientists say that all the world's data can fit on a DNA hard drive the size of a teaspoon. That's about 4 ounces of your DNA could contain all the information there is to contain in the entire world.
Yeah.
Now,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to throw in there, I've been studying with Caroline Leaf's material on the brain science, and she was just saying that if you think you don't have enough brain capacity, you're absolutely wrong, because your brain can hold 3 million years of memories and data.
Easily.
So it's crazy.
Easily.
Our physiology is designed to have much more access and impacts than we ever thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you were just talking about your brain. Well, here's another study. It shows memory research reveals cells have it too. Cells have memory. Yes. And again, if you go through all these studies, you begin to understand that every part of your body is a recording device. And it has been recording stuff all the way back to however far you want to go. I mean, ancestrally, I can say that it goes all the way back to Adam and Eve, out of my paradigm. That is incredible, that all that information of anything that anybody ever thought, ever spoke, ever saw, ever experienced is recorded in the DNA, and it's been passed down to me. And so I have that information there. So here's what you might be fighting. If you're fighting something, and this is the gold nugget right here, okay? If you're fighting something that you just seem to be going around and around and around the mountain, and yet you know that you need that, whether it's money or whether it's relationships or whatever it is that you feel like you think you need in order to go to the next step, and you seem to constantly be stuck there, it may not be you. In fact, it's very possible that it's something recorded in your DNA. And I'm reading a book right now. If you want a good book, The Love Code, absolutely awesome book, and it would set you free if you go through and read that. But the point is that they're recognizing that your body and all the recordings that are going on in your DNA all through your body is likely your subconscious working. So you get all this information that's been stored in it, passed down to you, and you've got this subconscious thought process going on, and it will fight your conscious mind if it doesn't come into agreement. And if that's what's going on, your subconscious mind, they say, is 1 million times more powerful than your conscious mind. So think about that for a second. If you don't have these things in alignment, like we were talking about earlier, you're going to have a tough time moving forward. But we can show you how to get rid of some of that ancestral stuff. We do a bloodline cleansing and a DNA cleansing that is very powerful, and that is actually what set me free. I suffered with depression my entire life up until 2.5 years ago, and it was gone instantly, and it's never come back, and I don't fight with it anymore. I know how to engage in the love, joy, and peace. So anyway, we will go into that a lot deeper when we get into the workshop. So encourage you to go ahead and sign up for that right away. Don't wait, because if you wait, something will come up. I can guarantee you something will come up and you won't sign up for it. But if you sign up, and we're putting a value to it, $47. I know from a fact that when we put some of our products up, we had a monthly price range on our Ultimate Impact, from $30 all the way down to free. Everybody who took it for free did nothing with it. It was just proven fact. I already knew it, but I thought I'm going to at least put it out there and give people the opportunity. Nobody who took it for free, and that was a majority of the people, did anything with it. So when we put a price point on it that, finally, okay, this is where people are comfortable paying for this, and they're engaged, it has value, they will do it. So that $47 is nothing compared to the freedom. I mean, there's no price I could even put on the freedom that I've received in the last 2.5 years.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Your destiny is worth it. If you're anywhere thinking that there's anything out of alignment in your head and heart, or out of alignment with your source, or out of alignment with how the universe actually works,
Yeah.
or if you don't think you have access, or if you don't think you're making the impact, $47 is nothing to
Yeah.
I mean, right? You can, if we teach you one thing that changes the trajectory of your destiny and the impact that you can have in the world, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's nothing,
Amen.
right? Yeah, well, okay, enough with the amen, but I'm just giving you a hard time. Okay, as promised, another bonus. This is your stay to the end bonus for those of you who are troopers. One of the ways that you can have a maximum impact is to repurpose your content. And by content, I mean any information or inspiration that you have to share. And I have a product called the 21 Message Multiplying Ideas. And I would like you to just put in your name and your email in the chat, and I will give it to you. And obviously, if you're watching in the replay, you're not going to have this, but if you can figure out how to get your name and email to me, I might be able to sneak it in. But really, this is for those of you who have been on the webinar. I really want to give you a bonus for being here on the webinar. Okay, so put your name and your email in the chat, and I will get that gift to you.
Very good.
Okay, so.
All right. Well, this has been actually, it's been very powerful, because I don't know how to express to people the importance of engaging with who you are. And there is a way to do that. And I've been doing it with people now for the last 2 years to one degree or another. And recently been new revelation on how to do that. But just to be able to engage with who you really are and to step into that is probably the most powerful thing you'll ever do. And once you do it, it will begin to change your life. And I can tell you for myself that having pressed and pressed and pressed to get all those goals in and to make it all work, the stress and everything, it was no good. But having stepped into who I am and operating from the place of love and joy and peace, to be able to just have my desires bring those things to me that I'm designed for. And some of those things I didn't even know I was designed for. But once I started, engaging with and operating into those things that were coming to me, it's like, this is really cool. I really like this. And I've never been so fulfilled. It's been great.
That's cool. We have so many people putting in their names and emails. This is awesome. Thanks, you guys. Good job. I will get that out to you ASAP. If anyone has any questions about the Recalibrate and Revolutionize workshop, you can go ahead and put that in there. We have just a few minutes left on the webinar, and we want to make sure that we answer any questions. Again, that link is spiritcenteredbusiness.com/workshop. Okay, I'm just going to hang out here. Yeah, if you could just put that back up there, that would be great. But I'm going to go back over here to the chat to make sure if anybody asks a question, I want to make sure that I catch it.
Yeah, so I see.
No, okay, there's a question, is it $47 a month? No, this is a one-time workshop, just $47, and it will be $97. So you're getting it for $47 now during this launch. So just one time.
Now the membership, though, that we had talked about, that is $14.97 a month for the membership. If you were
the membership is a month. That's a totally separate thing than the workshop.
And I just put that up there if they want the link for that.
Yeah, spiritcenteredbusiness.com/member. Great question. Thank you for that wasn't clear. Anyone else have any questions?
Looks good.
Yeah, I don't see anyone else's.
Do us a favor, and if you did enjoy this, if you think there are others that would benefit and gain from this, webinar and from what we're doing, definitely tell them to get on the next two. We've got another one coming up next Tuesday, same time, and then following that following Thursday at 1 p.m. So get the word out, get them to over here so they can get signed up, and we'll share with them what we just did here. It will be the same webinar. We will be doing it live, but yeah, get them on here, because yeah, Karen says good stuff, and it is good stuff. The thing is, it's so much better than you even know.
Yeah,
Really good.
you really have no idea. In an hour, there's no way we could cover it all. There's just so much. Thanks, you
Right.
guys, doing a great job. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for staying to the end. That's really good.
All right. Well, we just want to bless all of you with good things. That love, joy, and peace is a great place to operate from. We encourage it. And we will look forward to talking with you guys later. Any last words, Bralynn?
I really don't have anything else other than just, even if you don't do this, I just want to encourage you that you do have a destiny, and
Yeah.
your business is part of that. So
Yeah.
don't take it for granted. Get whatever training you feel you need, if it's from us or from someone else. Go ahead and sharpen that saw so that you can do the best that you can and be the best you that you're designed to be.
Hallelujah.
All right.
All right. Again,
Bye, you
bless you
guys.
guys. Just love you. Take
Love
care.
you too. Okay,
We'll see you next
bye-bye.
time. Bye-bye.